groups like ISIL can't destroy us. They can't defeat us. They don't produce anything. They're not an existential threat to us.
Let's bring in our panel. David Cantonese, senior politics writer for U.S. News and World Report, Fortune Magazine's Nina Easton, and syndicated columnist Charles Krauthammer. Okay, Nina, is there a disconnect here in the emotion, the tone, the tenor the president takes to how Americans feel about the terror threat?
Yeah, I mean, Americans feel deeply under threat, and not only that, by the way, this wasn't just an attack on Europe. Americans were injured in this attack and possibly targeted, as we heard earlier in the show, in this attack. These attacks came out of a radicalized community in Belgium that is very well planning an attack here. So for him to be so dismissive, I mean, it's almost like, well, this is background noise, something we're going to have to get used to. There's a level of resignation. There's no show of strength, no show of command, no show of, we are going to help Europe, we're going to keep the homeland safe, and to stand there, like, to be laughing. This was hours after this attack. This was the same day, and he's doing the wave in the baseball stadium laughing with Castro.
So his point, David, to ESPN was that you can't let the terror attack affect what you're doing, how you're doing it. But again, it seems like it's the image.
Totally. And he said this again today, that leaving the baseball game, changing his schedule, coming back would be allowing the terrorists to win. That is his argument. But his comments, and frankly Hillary Clinton's comments in tandem, I think shows that the Democratic Party is totally out of step and just out of bounds on this moment. I don't think they get it. Nobody was talking about relations with Cuba yesterday. He said this is an important part of his policy. Maybe it's an important part of his legacy. But the problem with, I think, Obama's comments and Hillary's is that this is the new normal, that these attacks will happen, and that there's sort of an acceptance of it, and that we're going to work with allies, and that we extend our hand, that we're going to be resilient. But that's not good enough, I don't think, for the American people, and I think your polls indicate that.
Well, this is Hillary Clinton today, and what was billed as a big counterterrorism speech, and she tried to project strength.
It would also be a serious mistake to begin carpet bombing populated areas into oblivion. Proposing that doesn't make you sound tough. It makes you sound like you're in over your head. Slogans aren't a strategy. Loose cannons tend to misfire. What America needs is strong, smart, steady leadership to wage and win this struggle.
Obviously referencing Ted Cruz and Donald Trump there.
Look, I think this is a semantic argument about what the word carpet means. Generally, I think it refers to World War II, to Dresden, to the attack on Tokyo, where you burn the city. That's not what we're talking about. What Cruz is talking about is comparing the Gulf War, where there were 1,100 sorties a day, to today, where there are about 15. Now, between those two numbers, there's a huge gap, and it does show sort of a lassitude on the part of this president, which you see in his statements. What he said in Argentina, this is a top priority, everybody understands that it's a farce. He doesn't believe a word of it. He says it by rote because he knows he's supposed to say it. But he has said in interviews, he has said it to his staff, as reported in the Atlantic, more people die in falls in their bathtubs than die in terrorism.
He also said climate change was more important than ISIS.
Everything is more important than ISIS. He thinks it is the background noise of our time. He has said this openly in interviews. The reason everybody's exercised is because the media is hyping it. He says if it bleeds, it leads. So people are becoming afraid as a result of media ratings. But he's simply unwilling to face the fact that this is a serious threat to the West, to the United States. People are justly afraid. And that under his watch, ISIL has gone from non-existence to now having a presence in at least 9 countries, having a safe haven, and having the capacity. In 1 week, it attacked in West Africa, in the Ivory Coast, attacked in Turkey, attacked in Brussels. That's a threat, and he does not believe it is.